Hey guys, Nish Quick here, and we have been playing Tears of the Kingdom for about a week or so now. I hope you guys are having fun. I'm having a very, very good time. But today I want to talk about 5 things I truly love about this game, and 5 things I am not the biggest fan of, and honestly I really haven't 100% landed on the title of this video because I don't want to sound too harsh, but honestly, there are things that I wish this game did a little better, but I'm gonna tell you guys this right now. A lot of the negatives I might say in this video are very small negatives in the grand scheme of things, because to be honest, after only a week and about 25 to 30 hours in, give or take, this is hands down the best open world video game experience I've ever had in my life. So if you're enjoying Tears of the Kingdom, hit the like button, subscribe for more content like this, and let me know in the comments below, what are some positives and negatives you've taken away from this game? What are things you love? What are things you don't like as much? Let me know in the comments below and let's chat about it. Without further ado, let's get started. Alright guys, so the first thing I love a lot about Tears of the Kingdom are the new puzzles, and specifically the shrine puzzles. So let's talk about these shrines real quick. Of course, you know, we got Ultra Hand, we got Fuse, we got Ascend and Recall. I really want to give a huge shout out to Recall and Ascend, because during this whole promotional period, ever since the Aonuma gameplay and then the previews and all that, everyone is gassing up Ultra Hand saying, this is the new big deal, this is so cool, you can build anything you want. And yeah, of course you can. You can build mechs, you can build robots, you can build whatever you want with Ultra Hand within the confines of the game. But in these shrines, I feel like the coolest and most fun puzzles I've ever experienced are with Recall and Ascend. Ascend just really gets you into places you never thought you could go. Recall, on the other hand, is where some of the really ingenious puzzles lie. And Recall, I've realized, has been kind of like my undo button or my Control Z. I mentioned that on a podcast with Andres Restart and Lunatunes, but Recall can get you out of really sticky situations, and also it is used in such creative ways to solve puzzles involving various objects, their movement, their trajectory, all that. So cool. And of course, Ultra Hand is fun too, because when I started this game this weekend, a bunch of my friends came over, and they normally don't play Zelda games, but they were the ones trying to grab my controller and say, hey, I want to build this, hey, how about we build this in this way, or how about we combine these things together, and then recall it and do all this. And honestly, guys, the puzzles in this game are top tier. So cool, so fun. They put the Breath of the Wild shrines to shame, that's all I'll say. Okay, my first negative is the music, and it's not necessarily that the music is bad, but everyone going into this game was saying, oh, the new music is amazing, the new music is fantastic, the new music is so much better than Breath of the Wild's. And I can agree with that in only very few select regions and areas. Otherwise, the music feels just about the same to me, and it's not that it's worse in any way. I actually kind of like Breath of the Wild's OST and soundtrack. It's nothing like Skyward Sword or Wind Waker, but it still has its prominent place within the Legend of Zelda soundtrack and universe. Tears of the Kingdom, I've only been to one area so far that has had noticeable and memorable music, and I will say that music and that soundtrack and that song was outstanding. But also, I am only about 20 to 25 hours into the game, so I haven't seen as much, or I guess in this instance, I haven't heard as much as anyone else, so I will reserve judgment on this one. Alright, my next positive are the Skyview Towers. Yeah, so we've seen one of these Skyview Towers in the previews, and immediately when I saw this segment in the preview, I think I had an idea of what was going to happen. So in Breath of the Wild, the whole shtick with the towers was you had to climb them. Maybe you needed to have enough stamina, or maybe you needed to climb them properly and get to those resting points and then continue to climb, or something like that. In Tears of the Kingdom, on the other hand, the puzzles, I guess you can call them, for these towers are much more creative. I won't go into too much details on this tower, but they have been built by people in this world, and sometimes these people, being the silly and forgetful people that they are, leave the towers either unfinished or they find something that is malfunctioning or whatever, and you, as the hero of Hyrule, have to help them out. But you don't do it in the usual way. Sometimes I had to jump all the way up and launch myself up with a rocket or something or the other to get very high into the tower and then fall right in from the very top. Or sometimes I have to find a cave, go all the way from the bottom, and ascend all the way up into the inside of the tower. Or, once this was very interesting, there was an area which was raining continuously raining, and there was vines surrounding the tower which I needed to burn. But there was also wooden planks everywhere, so I had to create like a kind of shelter canopy area and then just burn everything. And of course, that meant the vines as well. So these tower puzzles are very cool because whenever you enter a tower, it might not be just, hey, let's go into the tower and launch yourself up. It might be solving a puzzle in a cave and ascending, or doing some recall and ultra hand contraptions, or sometimes, like we saw in the preview, it's a massive, gnarly combat encounter. And this one took me a while. Okay, here's a negative that I have, and it is a pretty substantial negative. I might make a video on this. This is not a deal breaker, it's not a game-breaking negative or anything. It is the combat and the difficulty. So I immediately started this game and I could tell, this game is hard. This game is kicking my butt a lot when it comes to regular enemies, just like bokoblins or moblins or sometimes even constructs. And the reason I don't like this is because I myself have come from games that have high difficulty, but this difficulty is fair. It is a fair difficulty and it puts you almost on the same level as your opponent right off the bat. What I'm thinking of is Elden Ring, and recently I've been playing Dark Souls 3, and a lot of you might say, Nishquick, what are you talking about? From Software games are hard, they kick your butt, they're gnarly, they're difficult, they're grueling and aggravating, and yes, they are, but in the end, they are fair. They're fair because you have to really understand your enemy's movements, their patterns, you have to realize where their iframes are and where your iframes are, when you're dodging, when you should attack, how you should attack, and all of that. In Breath of the Wild, I noticed, and I was hoping this would be changed in Tears of the Kingdom, the combat feels a little more clunky, a little slower, and it's just harder to get things done efficiently. And in this game, I've noticed, sometimes an enemy might be incredibly overpowered. It'll one-shot you with one little bokoblin stick or bokoblin club. Just a light tap will one-shot you, and sometimes the only way to come back there and have a chance is either being incredibly overpowered with many hearts, or super good gear or whatever, or just being lucky and not getting hit. And you might be saying, oh, there's so many different ways to approach combat. You can fuse, you can create vehicles and run people over and all that. Yes, you can do that, but I just think it's a little weird that a lot of the solutions that I found have had me turn from a simple, normal character to a super overpowered character to have a chance at a lot of these enemy encounters. Whereas in the beginning of Elden Ring, with a very basic set of weapons, I stood a chance with a lot of things in Limgrave. It was tough. I died a lot, I died more than I did in Tears of the Kingdom, but the difficulty felt a little more fair, I will say that. Again, this is not a deal breaker. Zelda games, I've noticed, are not really heavily focused on their combat, and that's fine, but I just wish that the difficulty was a little more balanced in this game, and things are getting a little better now. I have more hearts, I have better gear, I have some really cool fused weapons, and things are fine, but I wish things were just a little better. Not a deal breaker again, by any means though. Here's a quick positive, the side quests are amazing. I am one of the few people who actually enjoyed the Breath of the Wild side quests. I thought they were cool, they introduced you to new characters, new locations, new and interesting scenarios within the land of Hyrule. And what I liked is there was a nice guide for these side quests. You could just see what you needed to do, when you needed to do it, and you didn't need to immediately start a side quest and complete it just so it's fresh in your memory. Unlike Elden Ring, I barely did any side quest in Elden Ring because I could not track it, because I did not remember the vague, mysterious poems and weird things all these people were saying to me that I had to decipher. I didn't understand that. So these side quests are a lot more approachable, but I will say Tears of the Kingdom has side quests and side adventures. And of course you have your main quest, but the side adventures almost feel like you have to do them or you need to do them because they're very important to what you need to do in this game, and they're important when it comes to character development, world building, and just making this world feel new and developed after what you've experienced in Breath of the Wild. My favorite one of this is the entire Hiteno Village side quest chain. I won't spoil much of it, it's not really story heavy, but I will say the payoff was really nice, and it was a really wholesome quest. I really enjoyed it, because you start off with one quest, and then you end up getting so many different other quests that lead you to this end goal. Once you get to that end goal, it's just so nice and satisfying, and maybe the reward isn't really tangible and substantial and good, but the whole ride, the whole story is just nice seeing it all unfold, and it's so nice and wholesome. Another quick negative is, I will say I am only 20 hours into this game, give or take, but I have been exploring the surface and the depths a lot more than the sky, because sometimes when I open up a Skyview Tower and unlock the area, and I look at the sky map, it's a lot more, I guess you could say, barren, but not necessarily barren, because the more you go down from a sky island, the more islands you'll see, but sometimes there's not much happening on some of these islands, but other times there's a whole bunch you can do. And the more I'm finding in this game, the more I'm exploring, the more I'm flying and gliding, the more I'm seeing of these sky islands, but I just wish there was a little more you could do up here. It feels just a little barren, but not really in the grand scheme of things, because I was going into this game thinking that there would be a lot of islands around the size of the Great Sky Island, but maybe I haven't found those yet. But honestly, what I found of the Sky Islands are good, but what I found in the depths is even better, and that leads us to the next positive. The next positive is the depths. I'm not gonna spoil anything massive, but this is everything I wanted it to be, basically. I went into this game, and during the whole hype cycle, the whole marketing cycle, I said, I want the underground to be big, vast, explorable, and fun. And so many people were hyping up this underground that I thought that maybe it won't be real, maybe it won't be as big and expansive, it's just too good to be true, you know? And then we got more information. We got to see a bit of the depths in the February trailer, we got to see more in the April trailer, but it was still a mystery because Nintendo didn't show any of this. And then we dive into the chasms, and wow, just wow, this map is enormous. This area to explore is enormous, it's scary, it is frightening, it is mysterious, and I love it. Almost all, if not every single one of the most mind-blowing interactions I've experienced in this game happened in the depths, and I'm very happy with how they went about this, and I'm very happy that Nintendo didn't give too much of this away, because a lot of these surprises are truly breathtaking and spectacular. So thank you, Zelda team, for creating one of the best areas in an open world game ever. Okay, here's my second to last negative, and it is the dungeons. And you're already coming out and saying, oh, but I love the dungeons, they're so good. And yeah, the dungeons are great. I enjoyed them, but I guess the negative you can say about the dungeons is that they aren't as traditional as I thought they would be. Is this a truly bad thing? Maybe not, because now that I think about it, how could a giant structural dungeon like Stone Tower or the Arbiter's Grounds appear in an open world, non-linear sandbox game like Tears of the Kingdom? Well, I think about this. we did have structures like Stormvale Castle and Raya Lucaria and Lanedale, the royal capital in Elden Ring. Those weren't puzzle-focused dungeons like Stone Tower or Snow Peak Ruins or any other 3D Zelda game. But these dungeons are fun. I will say they're fun, but they still remind me of Divine Beasts in some ways. I won't say what, I won't give specifics, and I'm going to be very vague on some of the footage I show in here as well, because I don't want to give massive spoilers away as well. But there were some things that really satisfied me, and there were some things that left me wanting more as a longtime Zelda fan. Alright, my last positive is, as Mr. Eiji Aonuma said, the Unfamiliar Hyrule. Yes, the surface is unfamiliar, and I'll tell you a little story about that, because you start off this game in Central Hyrule, unlike the Great Plateau, and my wide-eyed, excited self said to myself, hey, I want to go here, I want to do this, I had a checklist of things to do. I wanted to go to the Great Plateau, I wanted to go to Kakariko, Hateno, I wanted to go to Korok Forest, but starting off in Central Hyrule, setting out into the world, I got sidetracked so much, and then I started to get lost, because some things were different, some things didn't look the same, some things didn't feel the same. I found different shrines in different locations, different towers in different locations, different enemy camps in different locations. Entire areas were vastly different in their visual and geographical structure, and you really realize that the upheaval has done so much of a change to Hyrule. Not only the upheaval, but the span of time between Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. There's been a lot that has been advancing, and a lot that has been done by the Hylians and the residents of this world to make it a new and developed place. So us not seeing the gap between Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, we can definitely see in this game that a lot has changed. So on my way to Hateno Village, I was very sidetracked, and flash forward maybe 10 hours later, I was finally in Kakariko, and I was like, oh wait, I'm trying to retrace my steps from Breath of the Wild. The Great Plateau was here, Kakariko Village is here, then Hateno Village must be there. And eventually, 5 or so hours later, I was in Hateno Village. And that's so different from Breath of the Wild. It's not that it is easier to navigate or any of that, but things were just so different in this game that I had to explore every nook and cranny. And also, I did go back to the Great Plateau. I did go back to the Shrine of Resurrection. I won't say what's there, but let's just say it is very interesting, and I'm glad I paid the visit. And this perfectly leads us into the last negative, which is not really a negative, but like I said before, there's just so much stuff to do in this game that I get sidetracked so easily. So easily. And especially now, this far into the game, I have goals in mind whenever I start this game. I want to do this. I want to accomplish this. I want this thing to get done. And then I find shrines, and then I find towers, and I just leave them incomplete. I say, hey, it's on my map, at least I can fast travel back there. I'll fast travel there later, I'll complete it later. And that is the true testament to how fantastic and how genius and well designed and developed this open world game is. When I get sidetracked, and when I want to stop at every single corner and see every single thing and experience every single little point of interest, then I know that this game is truly something special. This world is truly something special. And the only negative about this is that it's just annoying that maybe I want to go to a village. I want to see this new village which I haven't approached yet, but instead of maybe getting there in 20 minutes, it takes like an hour and a half to get there because I'm so sidetracked by so many other things happening. Enemy encounters, shrines, towers, stables, chasms, sky islands, vehicles to build, items to fuse, caves to explore. There's so much to do in this game, and I'm not even scratching the surface. So let me know down in the comments below what were your favorite things about Tears of the Kingdom. We've had the game for about a week or so now, so let me know what your favorite things are and what some of your lesser favorite things are. Sound off in the comments below what you think about this game, what you think about all the new things introduced. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe for more Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom content like this. This is Nishquick signing off. Have a great day. Go play some great games today. And I'm sure you're already playing Tears of the Kingdom, so continue that. I'll see you guys in the next one later. Hey guys, this is Nishquick. Thank you so much for watching that video. And if you enjoyed it, check out these two videos on the left, and if you aren't subscribed, why not hit that subscribe button on the way out? I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day and see you later.